Most of our lives are governed by our habits. Do you know that feeling of being on autopilot? When we are taking our morning showers or brushing our teeth, we hardly need to think about what we are doing at all. Why? Because we've turned those necessary daily activities into habits. That is, tasks we've done so often that we can do them automatically now. In fact, a lot of our daily activities are governed by a habit. 45% of our behaviors are habits. We are especially prone to falling into habitual behaviors when we are stressed. We have a tendency to revert to habitual behavior when under pressure, tired, or overwhelmed. Unfortunately, this happens whether the habits are good or bad for us. Why does stress affect us in this way? Well, stress is often the result of being unable to make a certain decision. Habits are something we don't have to make decisions about. They are pre-programmed into our daily life. When stressed and incapable of making a decision, we resort to our habits. If you often find yourself chatting online or eating donuts when stressed, chances are that they are habitual behaviors. If so, there are good news. Bad habits can be changed. After all, habits are nothing more than neural pathways in your brain. They get thicker the more you use them and deteriorate when neglected. You create your own habits simply by repeating activities until they get easier and easier. So, if you want to strengthen getting up early in the morning, the first few weeks will be a struggle because those neural pathways are still weak. But soon enough, your brain will strengthen the connection between waking up and getting straight out of bed, while the habit of rolling over and going back to sleep becomes weaker and weaker. Before you know it, your neural pathways will be doing all the work for you, leaving you bright-eyed and ready to start the day. Our brains feature a powerful habit-forming system. One section of our brain, the basal ganglia, is tasked with programming our repetitive behaviors so that we hardly think about them. Consider the programmed behavior of choosing the ice cream flavor. Even at a fancy gelato shop with so many tempting flavors, we often just choose something familiar. Why? Well, thanks to our basal ganglia, it's something we are used to, though something we automatically tend towards. The more we repeat the habit, the record of it is in the basal ganglia and becomes stronger and stronger. For instance, after consistently repeating the action of turning on your computer and logging into your Facebook account right away, your brain will eventually just go on autopilot. That's how we end up on Facebook without even realizing it. The basal ganglia is often so strong that it overpowers the part of our brain responsible for conscious, reasonable making decisions, the prefrontal cortex. Unlike the basal ganglia, this part of our brain takes long-term consequences of actions as well as abstract concepts like morality into account. But the prefrontal cortex has one major flaw. It gets tired very fast. Making the right decisions is in fact a huge energy drain. While you might find it easy enough to resist the tub of ice cream in the freezer for most hours of a day, chances are that your prefrontal cortex will give up once it's gotten tired. At this point, your basal ganglia will take over, and you'll suddenly find yourself holding a big bowl of ice cream and cookies again.